DAO Watch episode 13. In this episode, we cover Dash, PIVX, Evmos, and our special guest is the mighty biggest DEX on BNB, one of the biggest DEXs in the world, PancakeSwap. On this episode, because we don't charge you, because I do this out of the goodness of my heart, the agreement is you watch the episode for free and all you have to give me is a like. So please like, and you may go the extra and subscribe, share it with your friends. This is DAO Watch episode 13. Let's get it. Hello and welcome to DAO Watch episode 13. This one's going to be an absolute corker. It is sponsored by nobody. It's just me and my thoughts and opinions. Going to change things up a little bit for this episode in that we're going to discuss a little bit more of a broad topic across all of the proposals that we look at. The broad topic I picked because it seems to have come up in every single proposal that we've looked at is the cost of actually putting forward a proposal on any particular network. So if you want to make a proposal, generally there is a fee. In some cases there are not, but in some cases there are, and the fee is often dynamic, or not dynamically, but it's often changed, or it can be changed, or it often reflects how much or how many proposals that particular network wants. So if you want more proposals, obviously you have a lower fee, so the barrier to entry is lower. If you want less proposals, or you want people to think the proposals through more, you have a higher fee. And I guess during this episode, we're going to see how that works. Right, our special guest DAO for this episode is PancakeSwap. PancakeSwap is absolutely massive everywhere it goes. It is the biggest DEX on Binance Smart Chain, which makes it one of the biggest DEXs in the world. And as you can see by this little V3 in the bunny, it's planning to update to Uniswap V3. PancakeSwap is a fork of Uniswap. Well, I believe it was a fork of SushiSwap originally, but they're going to be moving on to Uniswap V3. And we'll discuss that a little bit later. We're going to keep with the usual suspects, which are Dash, PIVX, and Evmos. I've been getting quite a lot of messages from other DAOs, and I think what I may do is I may swap one of the three main DAOs out. I may swap out Dash, Evmos, or PIVX. One of those three will probably get cut in the upcoming future. Please make sure you like and subscribe. I'm not going to do that thing that other YouTubers do where they try to make you stay to the video to the very end. You've got timestamps down below so you can skip to the project that you like. I'm not doing this for the views. I'm just doing it because I like it. First proposal is Dash, and what I'm going to do, if you bear with me, is pull up my own notes, as I do have notes on all of these proposals, which is right. So this proposal will probably be lost in translation. The important factors. Well, let me move this mouse around here. The important factors within this proposal probably were lost on quite a few of the people who commented on this proposal. So this proposal is, it's called Dash Masternode Tool seeking, oh no, that's the wrong one. That's not the right one. That's not the proposal we're going to look at. That's another proposal, which is extremely uninteresting and quite obvious. Let's look at this one quickly first. They're seeking candidates for the upcoming DTP election. And somebody who is named It's Demo quite clearly says, quite obviously says, I'm going to give that an upvote. If you think you cannot find candidates for trust protectors because you require KYC, which is the fact that you need to do KYC to become one of these trust protector people. So you need to give up your own information, make yourself, you need to dox yourself so that you can go and volunteer for this thing, which you're going to earn much less money than you would have earned if you went and got a job, judging by the standard of person that they want for this role. it's a little bit crazy. Obviously, it won't be that much work as a job, but it's just like, why would anybody bother? You would have to really give a damn. They're relying on altruism as well. Why don't you allow for a special type of trust protectors that will be allowed to remain anonymous? They need to do that at least. But this is another discussion for another day. We may follow this up in the next episode because it's still got a month to go. But let's look at the one that I really wanted to look towards, which is the Dash Masternode Tool infrastructure app update. Now, the proposal name is a bit of a mouthful, so basically what this proposal aims to do or wants to do or is proposing is that they want to fund infrastructure for the Dash Masternode Tool. Dash Masternode Tool is a small piece of software that you would have if you owned a Dash Masternode. You would use it to remove your rewards or remove your collateral if you wanted to, or you could vote within it, things like that. Adapting its source code to the upcoming changes in the Dash protocol while updating libraries to their latest version. So what they're saying is that when Dash protocol, which is, I'm assuming they mean Dash evolution, and this is one of the problems we have with this naming not being sorted out, is that when those updates are made, that the Masternode tool will still continue to work, because a lot of these changes will probably be breaking, so they will probably break the Masternode tool. This is me speculating, but it makes sense. The amount they're requesting is 205 Dash, which is around $12,000 US dollars. They're saying that, I think they said somewhere it will take 2 weeks. They're expecting it to take 2 weeks. I can't see where they've shown that. It doesn't say where it's going to take 2 weeks, but I think I figured it out. It will take around 2 weeks. It's a decent amount of work. So yeah, basically that's what they're saying, and the comment section, as you can see, gets off to a pretty terrible start where someone says that's kind of pricey, and I mean, they're not asking you to pay for it individually. I don't think it is pricey, but someone immediately has come out and said it's pricey. What I'm going to do, let's go through the pros and the cons, right? So this Dash Masternode tool, so people who have got masternodes on Dash, which is probably a very, very small percentage. Let's bear that in mind. It's a very, very small percentage, but those are the people responsible for pushing the direction of Dash and deciding what Dash does in the future, because they are the ones who do all of the voting. So they're a very small but powerful minority. And I guess to ask them whether or not we should fund the update to the tool that only they use, I guess it would be a little bit corrupt, right? Because you're not asking everybody, should the Masternode owners upgrade be funded by the network, or should they fund it themselves? You're not. You're only asking the Masternode owners, which is where the Dash DAO falls down quite badly. Okay, so the pros are that it ensures continuous support for the Dash Masternode tool users. It covers the server infrastructure costs for an entire year, providing reliability. Keeps it up to date with the changes, making sure that it works properly and that the operations are smooth. It increases security and efficiency by updating libraries to their latest versions. I think that can't really be understated. It's very important to remain up to date. And it maintains the convenience of using public RPC nodes for Dash Masternode tool users. Now, the alternative is you could run your masternodes off of the Dash core wallet, which would mean you would have to download the entire Dash blockchain and you would have to wait for it to sync. If you haven't used it for a few weeks, that could take a lot of minutes, up to hours to sync. And it's just not practical if you are running multiple masternodes and multiple coins. Me, for example, I do not have a core wallet of anything because I'm not that much into any one project. When I worked at PIVX, yes, I had a core wallet of PIVX. And when I first got into Dash, yes, I had a core wallet of Dash. Now, no, I don't have a core wallet of anything. And the reason why is because it just takes far too long for the syncing to happen. Sometimes the wallets can get corrupted, especially with PIVX that happen. And I know it happens with Dash as well. And then you'd have to download the entire blockchain again. The blockchains become massive. They're 20 gigabytes plus. It's just a bit of a nightmare, really. It's too much to ask for somebody to just use a coin. So I think that the convenience of using a tool like this cannot be understated. And I think it's lost on some of the people who are hardcore Dash cult members, let's say, because they don't look anywhere else. So to them, they've got probably Bitcoin and they've got Dash. So it's all right for them. They don't have anything else. This is me speculating, but I'm sure it's true of a lot of the people who would say things like it's too pricey. Maybe not that particular guy, but I'm sure it's true of some other people who would make that claim. Let's look at the cons of this proposal. It relies on a single developer. We don't know how much peer review is going to go into this tool. We don't know exactly how safe it will be. We're assuming it's going to be open source. I haven't checked that out, but I'm assuming it'll be open source. So people probably could check it out if they want to. I don't think anybody would bother. That could be a bottleneck. It could be a bit of a security risk. Clutching a little bit there. Some users might not want to use this. Some users might want to use their own nodes or their own full nodes. I'll have the full core wallet running. You know, if they do, then why should that money be spent? For me, the main con is that you're asking the Masternode owners if they want to pay to upgrade their particular software. I don't know if that should be paid for by the Masternode, by the main budget, or if the Masternode owners should have to donate like a GoFundMe or a Kickstarter or whatever to fund their own upgrades. But I guess that was more of a problem of the DAO than it is a problem of the Masternode owners, really, or this proposal in particular. We don't really know how extensive the changes will be. We've got a rough idea, but we don't really know if these changes will be enough, how long this will remain working with Dash once the new changes are in place. He doesn't really go into details about it. He probably knows. I would assume he's spoken to the core team, and I'm making the assumption, and he knows what breaking changes are coming down the pipe at him. But he doesn't actually mention it. So I'm gonna mark that down as a con, because we don't really have a very long roadmap. We've just got, we're going to make these changes and we'll be okay on that day. We don't know how long we'll be okay for. Also, the final con is, obviously, it's a small one. Again, it's a clutch, is that it's priced in Dash. We're assuming that this won't change, but I'm going to start saying that this is a con for all of these proposals, because there's always a chance that this moves heavily in one way or the other. And he has added an income tax when exchanging Dash for fiat. I don't think there should be a 19% income tax when exchanging Dash for fiat. Well, in my particular part of the world, it would be capital gains, and you have not gained. So I think your tax issue should be your own. And we had this tax thing on another Dash proposal. I don't know why these Dash people are so hot on this. Let's add money for tax. So I'm going to add that as another con. I don't think that it should be down to the budget or the DAO to pay your taxes. I think that should be your own cost to bear. And I also think that these people need to get a little bit more educated when it comes to taxes. It's in the word. You can't pay. Maybe this person's English might not be their first language, but you can't pay an income tax for exchanging an asset. That's not what income is. That's not income. Capital appreciation at best. The income tax should be paid on the actual amount that you're earning, which would be, I guess, the amount that you're getting altogether minus your costs, so minus the cost for these VPSs, and that's it should be really a percentage of that 8,700. Yeah. Okay. How am I going to vote on this? I'm going to vote yes, of course. Although it's got the few small problems that it has, I think that having these sorts of tools, it's absolutely vital if you're going to have people like me who move around between multiple projects. If you only want to keep your own people for your own little echo chamber, your own little cult that have all got full nodes and they're all devoting their whole life to Dash and that's the only crypto that they give a damn about, then fine. But that will make for a weaker governance system. It will make for a weaker community. It will make for a weaker project. It's just bad. So really, you want to have people be able to become quite powerful within the system that you're running quite easily. You want to lower the barrier for, I guess, not only people who want to vote and stuff, but whales and things like that. You want to lower the barrier for them, and this tool definitely does that. At the price that they're asking, I would say it's a snip. Another thing to check, which is not actually said here. Oh yeah, the source code is available on GitHub. Yeah, of course it is. Well, I want to see who's put this proposal for Bertrand. Right, so it looks like this is the person who actually made the tool and is keeping it running and keeping it going. In which case, you've got that. Oh, that's a bad link. Because he put a full stop at the end of it. In which case, you've got that that kind of trust where you know that this person knows what he's doing. If we look at the commits, let's see how far back he goes. Yeah, you see, so even back to 2001, it's this same guy who's been doing all the commits. So yeah, it looks like we can trust that this guy knows what he's doing. If you trust the software, then you can trust the proposer, assuming that this is the proposer. That's the only other thing. And he hasn't put anything in there that would make you definitely know it was him. This is an attack vector which I've not really seen been approached, but essentially I could go in as Bertrand257, no one's going to really notice, or I could be Bertrand or something like that, and then put forward a proposal like this and collect people's money. It would be good if he had maybe like a PGP key or something like that. I don't know. I'm clutching, I'm reaching. So yeah, overall, it's a great proposal. I like it. I'm going to be voting yes on it because I know exactly how important it is to use these Masternode tools because it's all I use. And if the Masternode tool stopped working, I would have to leave because I don't care about Dash enough to have to jump through the hoops of a full node. If it hasn't got a light wallet, I'm not interested at this point. I do understand that these sorts of things, they limit the decentralization. It's better for the network if it's a more decentralized network. But I don't care enough to be one of the people who adds to the decentralization. So, horses for courses, food for thought. Let's move on. Oh, if you've disagree with anything I said, the comment section is below. So yeah, don't be shy. Or if there's any questions, comment section is below. So yeah, get in there. You can tell me, Cryptosi, you're an idiot for whatever reason. You'll be wrong, but you can say it. Let's move on. PIVX. Always this order. Always this order. Not this order. This order. LBank Listing. That's the proposal we're going to look at. The reason why I came into this page is because I wanted you to see exactly how much of the pie, or the potential pie, this listing is taking up. 41% to list on LBank. LBank is an exchange. Let's go and have a look at LBank. LBank is an exchange. I think it's one of the top 20, probably. One of the top 20 exchanges. I've met the guys from LBank. I met them in Lisbon last year, and they seemed like nice guys. This is pretty much your bog standard exchange. I think they claim to have 9 million users. I think they did. I feel like I've seen that somewhere. Obviously, I don't believe it, but I feel like I've seen it somewhere. They do decent amounts of volume. They've got a high trust score on here. What else is interesting about them? They run loads of coins, which is interesting. So they don't focus on a small amount of coins. They run loads of coins, which we'll get into later. And the volume of them is always pretty high. There's quite a lot of volume on everything that they do. So it seems like the people who are on LBank are trading a lot, or there's a lot of wash trading going on. One of the two. This proposal, along with the now integration, which I was very critical of in the last episode, both been put forward by the same person who also put forward this BizDev proposal as well. So he's responsible. This is his wage. This is how much for listing on this exchange, and this is how much to get integrated into the Now payments. I actually used Now payments a few days ago, or yesterday, I believe, just to look at me doxing myself, just to move some money around. Okay, so LBank listing. How much do they want? Well, the listing is $40,000 US. And market making is 20,000 plus a little 10% buffer, comes up to $66,000 US, or very grand total of 156,219 PIVX. Where do we start with this? Paying this much money to get on a exchange is painful. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. But you have to make bold moves in crypto, and this is certainly one of them. And it seems like he's not getting any pushback. Now, that may be because he got a lot of pushback on the Now integration, and that got put through. And possibly the same people who would have questioned this integration are now kind of like, well, it seems like this guy's got the Midas touch. Let's just get out of the way. The Jeffrey train is coming through. Jeffrey is the name of the guy who's putting these proposals through. I haven't bothered to challenge him on the forums because I feel like it would just be an absolute waste of time. I think the decision has been made, wherever these decisions are made, in the halls of power, the purple halls of power, as the proposal already has 445 yes votes and 10 no votes. So there are quite a few people who are saying no, more than usual. Usually, apart from this Doge CEO, usually the most you would get is 13, which was also for another Jeffrey proposal. The Now integration one also got 13 no votes. So he is leading the way in no votes by quite some distance. There are none for the core, none for the marketing, none for JS Kitty. There are no votes for anybody else. So, or only a few no votes for Sean and only a few no votes for the other core dev. So if you take all of this into account and you look at the amount of no votes, you can see which proposals seem to be ruffling the most feathers, even if you take out the massive upvotes that have been landing for Jeffrey. Only look at the no votes. I think they give you a better picture of what the community actually thinks. For me personally, I think the way he's broken down the proposal, I like. There's a lot of transparency here. The thing is, Jeffrey, he knows what he's doing. So all the information that you need is here. The website link, the CoinMarketCap link, the Twitter link, all the information you need is there. They tell you about the exchange. They tell you about the products they offer. They tell you who the founders are, where it's located, where it's active. Well, here's the 9 million users. I knew I'd seen that. 9 million users. Hold on. Nine million users. Cap. So it clearly breaks down what this is going to include, that it's a PIVX USD trading pair. So we're only going to get one pair for $66,000, which maybe is a good thing because you just focus, you hone in on that pair. You can get on exchange staking. I don't know. That may come under fire as it has with Kraken. Or they're definitely going to probably have to remove it for the American consumers because on exchange staking has come under fire. We'll get an AMA with LBank. If the AMA goes out to a small portion of their 9 million users, that will be good. We shall see. I'd like to tune into that AMA and I'll probably report some feedback on how many of the 9 million users turned up. If they put it on Twitter and let their 9 million users know, then that might be good. Free market making. Well, it's not free because it's 20k. Some market makers charge 4k per pair per month. We're paying 20k. Right, okay, so the 20k must be for the liquidity for the market making. What happens to this 20k after this market making is done? I don't know. One thing I did ask once upon a time was, can the exchange give us some of the fees that on the trading that they do? So some of those fees come back to us if we're paying 40k for listing. As well as being listed, they will be taking money on the fees that the trading provides, even the market making fees. Well, it depends on the market makers. They may have feeless trading, a Q&A and a PIVX trading competition. Blah, 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 blah. If you want to vote yes, you put that in. You want to vote no, you put that in. So, yeah, so those are the pros. That this exchange is a big exchange. I'm not sure about the 9 million users. I'm not so sure about that. But it definitely is one of the bigger exchanges, which doesn't mean much in crypto because I personally feel that 90% of the volume within crypto is fake. I think 90% of the volume within anything crypto, even stocks, which I think most of it is fake. But comparatively, I still think it's a big exchange, a decent sized exchange. I know that the exchange exists. I've got a feeling that the exchange is legit because I've met some of the guys that work at the exchange and they struck me as being legit. Could be an elaborate scam, but I don't think so. So I think the fee is not dangerous to be scammed. I think it's a big enough and legit enough exchange. I like the pair. PIVX USDT. I like that pairing. I think I prefer that to BTC, so I think Jeffrey's made a good decision there. I like the fact that we're collaborating with the exchange to get more than just listing, so they're going to help push PIVX, which gets the brand and the mission out to more people than just within our own ecosystem. It will get it out to some of those 9 million users. Free market making, that's good, although we have to put in the 20k, and we don't know what length of time this market making deal is organized for, who's going to be managing that 20k in the future. Really, there should have been some rules or some parameters put around that, because after that market making is finished, what happens to the 20k? I doubt anyone will ask if there's nothing set up to keep reminding us. And I don't know, not to say that Jeffrey will pocket it, but the whereabouts of DAO owned funds should be kept transparent, I believe. And I like the fact that you can stake on the exchange, although I'm not sure how long that will last for. The cons are that there's potential liquidity issues when taking this listing fee. It's quite a big fee. I don't know how big a 40k dump into PIVX would be on the price. I doubt it's already priced in. Funds for the market making must be kept on the exchange, which is a little bit of a risk, obviously, but there's no real way around that. But it's just, let's remember that not only have we got the risk of the market maker, well, not the market maker as a third party, but whoever it is that owns that account as a third party, we've got that risk, whether that's Jeffrey or whoever it is. I doubt it will be a multi-sig, because it's just and on top of that, it's just the exchange. So if something bad happens with the exchange, that's that money lost as well. And the last negative point is just the fee. The fee is whopping. It's massive. I like that it's bold, but my goodness, like the fee for these two integrations is almost 3/4 of everything. That includes core development. If we have core development here, if we include all 3 core developments, so 30 plus 15 is 45, plus another 15 is 60,000 PIV. That's almost a third, just over a third of the LBank listing alone. If you combine the two, oh my goodness, like 250 and 60,000, what is that? It's less than a fifth, which is quite crazy. Just over a fifth. It's quite crazy. So, but some people believe it. And I know that marketing does often cost more than development, but we're talking about all our eggs in 2 baskets here. So that's the con. How will I vote? Of course, I'm going to vote no. I like that he's being bold. I like that it's a step to increase the liquidity across multiple exchanges. I just don't believe that LBank is as big an exchange as LBank are making out. Not only because I've not used it, but just because it's the way crypto is, and I feel that a lot of their trading, a lot of their volume is not real. And we're paying a lot of money to join a not real, so it's just a no from me. The main issue being the price. If it was 6k, I'd say yes, bite your hand off. 60k, no, it's too much, too expensive. So that one's a no from me. And let's move on. If you disagree, say why. If you've got any questions, say why in the comments, and let's move on. The next project we're going to look at is going to be Evmos. I can take this off now. Now, this is a proposal which has been put through to give some liquidity to the staked Evmos / Evmos liquidity pool on Forge. Forge is the new, I believe we spoke about this. No, we haven't. Forge is the new DEX. So effectively it's like the PancakeSwap or the Uniswap or the SushiSwap of Evmos. There are already DEXs on Evmos, but Forge will be using Uniswap v3. This Uniswap v3, everyone's using it because it allows you to limit your impermanent loss. So when you're providing liquidity, it allows you to lose less potentially. So you can say how much you want to trade your liquidity through. It's got a few small features like that which make a big difference. So that's why all the DEXs are taking it on. Obviously, the Uniswap v3 version is battle hardened. They could have probably created these type of contracts themselves, but they will be using Uniswap v3 because it's been battle tested with loads and loads, well, probably billions of dollars on the Ethereum mainnet. This proposal went through some weeks ago, not even that long ago actually. They've built this really quickly. I think it went through something like 2 or 3 weeks ago. They probably got paid, or maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago at the most. They want to add around 600k USD for liquidity, which is quite a big amount, but Evmos is quite a large amount locked network considering the amount of users and the length of time it's been around. They do get quite a lot locked. They've got a massive budget, and 600k out of it is it's not gonna break the bank. It's 10 times more than I just shut PIVX down for spending, but this is liquidity. This is not going to vanish. This is just going to be there as Evmos or staked Evmos. So really, you're just moving parts of the community funds and using them for liquidity. You won't suffer impermanent loss because Evmos and staked Evmos will have very close to the same values. As we look at pros and cons, let's look at the pros and the cons. I would say, oh no, we've done the funding request. We've done that. Right, the pros, that obviously it enhances the trading experience for people using Forge DEX. It makes Forge DEX it makes it the number one DEX on the network by a long way, which I like and I don't like. I worry when one particular DEX seems to get the blessing of the oligarchy because it stops competition. No other DEX is going to bother to come to Evmos because this one is clearly the parents' favorite. So that's probably a con. On the pro side is it does make the DEX strong, and without this huge liquidity pump from the DAO, I don't think Forge would have had the resources to have that much liquidity, put it in themselves, and they wouldn't have wanted to take the risk or put that money to sleep, the opportunity risks, because they could use that money elsewhere if they had it, which they likely don't. It really increases the overall value of the network having these big strong DEX. It supports long-term sustainability. It encourages other projects to come to Evmos and build, not DEXs, but the team behind it, which is the, I want to say Atomic Apes, Orbital Apes team. The team behind it, they were an outside team. They came through, they've done a really good project with Orbital Apes. They made a beautiful NFT marketplace, and they just showed their development chops, and rightfully they were given the go ahead to build this DEX. They got paid very well for it. I'd say bordered on overpaid for it. But I will say I'm going to assume, although I haven't used Forge DEX yet, I'm going to assume the DEX is going to be beautiful. I'm going to assume because their front end work on Orbital Apes was top notch. So it will it will encourage or incentivize other top development teams to come to Evmos, because they know if you do a good job with Evmos, the DAO will back you. They will back you with other things, and you will likely get overpaid, or you will get paid. Definitely, you will get paid on the higher side of the spectrum between well paid and scratching a living. So that's probably the last pro. On the negative side, it locks up a chunk of the treasury for a while, so that chunk you wouldn't be able to access that chunk. It has to be controlled by a multi-sig. One of the problems I have is that these multi-sigs seem to have the same names over and over again. So although I was saying, oh yeah, multi-sig, but if we've got this LPX and GV, and I've seen him on other things before, we end up with a lot of the same names on a lot of multi-sigs for a lot of different things. Then we're back to putting a lot of eggs in the few baskets. What really should be happening is these teams should be expanding, or we should have some more trusted names to start to steward these funds. The topic that we did say we was going to keep discussing was about the costs. And I noticed this on Evmos, the last episode, that we only had the one proposal. Again, we've only got one proposal. And again, it's a proposal from the core team. And again, they know that it's going to go through. No one else has come through with any other type of risky proposals. As opposed to Dash, where within Dash there was this proposal which was put through, which is a proposal for one Dash, which is only $60 put through, and you will get proposals like this. I think Dash have probably got it at a perfect level. It's asking for one-time payment of one Dash because it costs one Dash to put the proposal in. And this proposal is just asking people to consider a role. So basically, it's just a broadcast, and people have paid to broadcast. And somebody said, a Grandmaster Dash, let me give that an upvote. He said that like he would call this type of thing spam, but someone else came back and said, okay, well, if we keep the fees like this, if people want to spam, go ahead, because it's going to cost you $60 each time you want to try to send one spammy proposal. So I think they've kind of got it right. It looks like to me that Evmos have kind of got it wrong, because there isn't as much activity, and that's for a number of reasons. You know, like Evmos really, I think they probably lost a lot of interest to projects like Canto, even though Canto admittedly, and they would even, or I believe they have admitted, they're not even building, they're relying on Evmos to build. The amount of interaction with this governance pool, it's poor. There's not enough going on. There needs to be more going on. We need more proposals from people outside of the Evmos core team. We need more proposals from people outside of the Evmos core team, because that's what DAOs are about. This proposal had a slight typo where you click to see the full proposal and it takes you off to some other completely different proposal. That's more than likely because they've just copied and pasted their template and then filled it in as they need to, and they haven't changed that part there. It's the same people putting in proposals over and over again, and that's one of the bad things that will happen. All right, so we've talked too long about what's a very, very simple proposal. What will I say to this one? I'm going to say yes, but I'm purely going to say yes because why not? The money's going to be sitting there anyway, or the tokens will be sitting there anyway. So you may as well put it forward to a DEX. This is the only DEX that's here. There's so much more happening within Evmos that's making it a more and more closed community. When we started these programs, there was this argument back and forth with some developers. They've been pushed out. They've gone. We haven't found a way to smooth out those intellectual differences, and now we're left with a place where proposals go up and they're always going to pass. We had one that didn't pass. which feels like an age ago, which was about the community mod work stream, but that was 6 weeks ago. Oh, here we go. And here's the other one. It was about 8 weeks ago, it looks like. This was for the Forge decks. Didn't have the name. But again, it was the Orbital Apes along with the core team. So you're going to see some of these names again. Zenith Station, Silk Nodes. So you're going to see these names, same names over and over again. It will be good to get more people in. I feel like maybe they need to have a business development team. They need something, because at the moment there's the core team and there's the Orbital Apes guys, and that's it. Away from that, you've got relying on people from other chains possibly forking over, but not really taking Evmos as they're not taking it that seriously. So yeah, so overall it's a yes and it's a why not. And on the underlying theme of trying to get more proposals onto every network, Evmos is not doing as good a job as both PIVX and Dash. So let's move on to the last one. And the last one is PancakeSwap. And the first thing I want to do before we even look into the proposal is show you how much of a terrible job PancakeSwap are doing with proposals. So the problem is that basically there are proposals proposed by the core team, and then there's proposals proposed by everybody else. Now, for everyone else to propose a proposal, it costs nothing. And so you've got all of these types of proposals. Stage 2 cancer help. A loved one got diagnosed with stage 2 cancer. We need some money. That's fine. But if we scroll down, then you get into this. PancakeSwap X Moonbeam. PancakeSwap X Moonbeam. A little help. PancakeSwap Moonbeam. This is the same person's put in the same proposal how many times? Just because it's free. All of this free proposals. Free. So they're just putting in any old thing. People are just doing, look, one said good morning. Someone put in a proposal saying GM. One says salam. Test, do not test. ARB is a joke. ARB is a DAO. Upgrade cake to be cream cake. You know, not to belabor a point, but this is terrible. There's no way you can get through this. Basically, it's broken. It's absolutely broken, because you come and look at it, just doesn't work. Now, the way you do make it work, which is a kind of a workaround, but not a very good one at all, is you would come to the PancakeSwap website. You would then go up here and you would click on voting. And what they've done is they've changed it so that you've got the core proposals and then you've got the community proposals. Donations for a Lamborghini. I kid you not. My car was wrecked by a drunk driver. Now I have to walk to work like a real crypto man. I dream of a Lamborghini. Oh, now I have to walk to work. Like a real crypto man, I dream of a Lamborghini. This is my dream. I'll be grateful to everyone for a donation. Crypto community is power. I promise to upload photos and videos to the Telegram group. Donation in USDT, BUSD, Cake, BNB, SHIB, GMT. No, what is that? What is that? Can I just vote yes? Let me cast my vote. Oh, I don't have any voting power. Okay. I'll do it later. Voting. Right, so if we go back to voting, so now we've established that the community one is broken, right? There's no way you can use this and read through all of this crap just to decide what you're going to do. But if you go to core, it works. Two proposals here. One for outer rings liquidity pair, moving it over from USDC to USDT. I've looked at that already. Outer ring is only interesting to me now because another DAO that I'm an advisor in that we followed last episode called Metabrands, they own quite a lot of GQ. So now when I see it, I'm like, oh, I give a damn. But this is the one we want to look to. Proposal to confirm farm emissions for PancakeSwap v3. Reduce farm emissions for PancakeSwap v2. It's quite a straightforward proposal. And what it really aims to do is move everybody from v2 of PancakeSwap over to v3. people have to move themselves. There was a way that PancakeSwap could move them, but that was aptly named the rug pull code by developers and other people, because if you can move liquidity, you can steal liquidity, and quite a few dexes stole liquidity. PancakeSwap now, they require you to move your own liquidity. Oh, they have done for a while, actually. I don't think they might not have copied the rug pull code from SushiSwap. They may have never had it, or they may have had it only for a short while. I'm not too sure. So what they're saying is that the overall trading emissions, there we go. Overall trading emissions will be reduced from 3.11 cake to 2.4, of which the farm emissions will be reduced from 2.21 cake to 1.50 cake per block. The farm is when you just stake. Farming is staking. No, sorry, the pools are staking, and one of the way arounds. Yeah, the pools are staking, and the farms are for liquidity providers. Emissions detailed below in this nice, beautiful infographic here, so you can see what happens on V3. It will go up to 1 cake per block and up to 0.3 cake per block. Whereas after V3 happens, that will go down to 0.2 cake per block, and that will go down to 0 cake per block. So that's how it will change, and basically it's just to move people forward. The pros and cons are not really. They're kind of straightforward, like with this sort of proposal. If there are people who are dragging their heels, they get penalized for it. It makes the overall product a lot better if we can move it onto V3, which is good for everybody. It will increase the TVL on the V3 pool so that there won't be this kind of split where you've got half the people have migrated, and so you end up with the liquidity on one particular pool being basically half it would have been, because everybody's got to move. And it allows PancakeSwap to keep pace, really, with the rest of the industry, so it must be done. Reducing the farm emissions also is probably good for the price, because it lowers the sale pressure. During a bear market, really what you want is to be producing as little as possible. I'm going to go out on a limb and I'll say produce as little as possible. The only project I know that done well whilst produced with a high APR during a bear market is Evmos. I can't think of any others. None of us spring to mind. And I don't think it was because they had an APR. I think it was because they were the first to have EVM working well on Cosmos. Excuse me. The lower APR. Okay, well, let's look at the cons. Yeah, the lower APR, it does mean that people might start looking elsewhere. So it lowers the pool of this particular DEX, which might be a problem. We shall wait and see. Some tokens might not be suitable for V3. I'm not sure if by that I meant rebasing tokens. Let's see, I do these notes and I don't leave them full. So I'm assuming that some of the tokens won't move over to V3. And that may become an issue, but I think that's more of an issue for them. Like you just got to sort your token out. You got to make the additional changes. The educational content that will be provided to help liquidity providers will be useful. Scroll this down a little bit. Oh, they actually went through what they think are the downsides. A reduction in total value locked on V2. Oh no, that's not really a downside. They've done one of those fake downsides that you do in a job interview. It's not really a downside. It's a little bit more involved controlling your positions when you move on to V3, because if your coin rockets out of your narrow scope or even if it's not that narrow, if it rockets out, suddenly you're not in the game anymore, so you're not collecting rewards. Managing that position does put a little bit of extra strain on liquidity providers. It makes the job a little bit more stressful, or a little bit more stressful, because it suddenly becomes tactical. It's not quite as passive as it used to be. But for that, I believe somewhere they said that they will have some kind of tooling to make things easier. The votes are looking like everybody wants to go V3. The few people that don't, those people probably, I would say, don't want to have the hassle of managing their position, because that is the main criticism leveled at V3. I'm going to vote yes as well. I'm in the yes pool. You just got to keep pace. I believe that the tools to manage position will improve in time, and when they are improved, what you really need is you need to have V3. Basically, you need to have V3, a good tooling that will moderate your risk for you, as opposed to V2 where you're just at the mercy of the gods. Really, you can have some quite bad impermanent losses. I've had the maximum of 25% is you trend towards 25% if the coin moves up, and I've experienced that myself, and it has hurt, because what will happen is a coin will go from a small value to a huge value, and in your head you'll think you got the huge value, and then when you go to remove your liquidity, you'll realize that a chunk of that huge gain is gone, and that could be a decent sized chunk. You're still up, but you're not up as much as you would be, and that is painful. I know it sounds greedy, but that is painful. And that's it. We've arrived at the end. Congratulations, well done. Give yourself a pat on the back. Don't forget to like and subscribe. To summarize, today we looked at Dash, and we decided that this Masternode tool definitely needs funding, because people like me use it, and I feel like Bertrand had a hand in the Light Wallet. I feel like I've seen that name before in the Light Wallet. So we trust the developer. We like what he's doing, so that's a yes. LBank was a no. I just think it's too expensive, but we like it because it's bold. We like bold stuff, and they've got 9 million users. Evmos, we went with a yes, because why not? The funds are sitting there. Evmos has got a massive community pool, huge, and they might as well put it to some use. We noticed a real slowdown in the amount of proposals that are going into the Evmos governance cycle. This is not good. We haven't had a nice, good slugfest of a proposal since the community work stream. So we noticed that. And then finally, we voted yes on that, by the way. And then finally, we went on to PancakeSwap with its absolutely broken public or community proposals. I think we need to have 3 or 4 sections here. So it needs to be core, community, or 3 sections. Core, community, and bonded, maybe, where you could put up a bond of, let's say, 10 to 50 cake, and if your proposal is successful, then you'll get your cake back. If your proposal is unsuccessful, you lose your cake. So like a bonded proposal, so you could have core, community, bonded, and then all of them, because the bonded ones would just be for more serious people who aren't there to ask for donations for their Lamborghini, which is good fun, but we need to separate the good fun proposals from the other proposals. So yeah, so look, see, to make a proposal, you need at least 10 voting power, which is nothing. And that's it. So thank you very much. Please like, subscribe, and share. If you're a fan of any of the projects that we've featured, please share this, because what we really want to do is we want to increase the education that surrounds DAOs. We want to increase the education that surrounds proposals. We want to get better proposals, and we want people to be discussing proposals. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in episode 14 in about a fortnight's time. Peace.